Yeah.
Yep.
But still got you?
All good.
Yeah. I've lost your picture, but that doesn't matter. You've got my picture.
Yeah, I can see the screen there. That's the main thing.
Yeah, so where is this the high country?
Yeah, so that's that one's one of the plateaus at the southeast side of the property. Up on the hill, yeah.
So this would be one of your remote type, a typical site of a remote tiny house.
Yeah, yeah.
As I remember it, that's what the sort of hunters, remote, reclusive tiny house sites look like.
Yep.
Nice. It's beautiful when you've got a clear day.
Yeah. And once we clean the scrub out and sort all that up too, sure, I reckon she'll come up pretty well.
All right. I'm just going to flick through. What's that bottom country coming in there?
What's that? What? Sorry.
This country over here, that flat down there, is that?
Yeah,
is that...
that's part of the Font Hill property. So that's where the south gate is, just under where your mouse cursor is. Yep, right in that corner.
This is the partner property that's going to go into farm forestry.
Correct.
And what is all this? This is plantation forestry in the foreground.
Yes, that's plantation Nitons, so they'll be harvested in about 5 years because they're a bit small at the moment. But then we'll
darker green out there.
That's pines. That's not part of the property.
Oh.
So forestry, and that over.
What direction is that?
That's facing east.
That'd be a fuel load if it ever went.
Mm.
Okay. This is part of the Font Hill property.
Correct. Yep.
And those would be native nukes there, would they?
Yeah, and they're staying.
Yeah. That'd be good. How's the plantation going to be for your bee forage?
Well, it should be fine once the trees are established. So we've got a 3 to 5 year establishment period before we could put livestock in amongst them. So we just got to see how the trees are developing in that 3 year mark and make a judgment call.
But for your bee forage?
Oh, the bee forage?
Yeah.
Should be great because we've got mixed species that are all bee friendly and nectar producing, pollen producing, and once that's established, we'll be doing a meadow mix in with the pastures as well. So we'll have multiple sources of.
Get a decent meadow underneath them.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
And you said there's pollen and nectar producing species in the bricks.
Yes.
Nice. Have you been part of that choice? Have you?
Yeah. I was able to put my 2 cents in, and they took the suggestions. As I said last time, I was a commercial beekeeper for a number of years on the mainland, so got that experience.
Yeah, no, great. I've got similar. I've almost got some inquiries in the Middle East about beekeeping for forest carbon credits, where they rave about Sisyphus. They call Zedder. But there's a a lack of understanding that you can't just rely on one flowering species. No,
and you got to have species that flower at different times of the year as well.
Yeah, they don't get that quite. The guys I'm talking to. Anyway, so is this swale country? Are we swaling through the Fontaine property?
Yes.
We are?
Yep, both properties.
All right. Okay, so we're swaling through stuff like that?
Yep.
And you've got a 5.5 ton excavator?
5.8 ton on order for July and August with a tilt bucket.
Yeah, has to be a tilt bucket to get it done in that time.
Got to have a tilt bucket.
How solid is that ground?
Well, they're ripping through areas of the property now with a dozer with probably a 1.5 foot teeth at the moment and ripping out a lot of these shrubs and so forth. So the ground's already been tilled essentially. So that's going to make the the culvert work a lot easier.
Can we write that down as a photo, please?
As a photo, yep.
I'd like to see those rip lines.
Yep.
In the best condition and the worst.
Can do.
Like where it get, where they start hitting rock and all kinds of horrible solid stuff and turning all kinds of roughness up, and where it just cuts almost like a giant yeoman's plough, which is a joke. But anyway, as clean as clean and as rough as rough.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to have to move. You've got a lot of country to cover in that time, and
yes.
Wales not going to be massive because you only got a 5.5 tonner with probably a 5.9, might have a 5 to 6 metre reach.
Yep.
That's all right for forestry. You don't need a huge swale. Okay, we'll fly along if you don't mind, because we've got a lot of cover here, a lot of photos. That's the same, is it? What about that clearing right out in the distance? Are we still in the game?
Still in the game there, yep.
Well, you have a lot of country to cover in a month.
Yep. 2 months.
You're going to have to have an operator who really knows how to swale quick. You're going to have a laser level.
Got one.
And it'd be much better if you had a laser pickup on the excavator. Because one will peg in front of him, right, with a laser peg in front of him.
Yep.
But if he's picking it up on the machine, it's a little bit quicker. Otherwise, there's going to have to be someone following him and giving him a lead in. Is he within 20 mil on each cut?
Yep.
If you have a laser pickup on the machine, he doesn't need anybody after that.
Right.
But it might be too much to us. It is an expensive bit of kit.
Yep.
All right, where's this?
This is north of the property on the flats.
Down the bottom where the more intense micro tiny house villages, that sort of area?
No, this is on the Fonthill property. The village will be on the Pig Creek property. But this is just a quick pan scan of the area. Sorry, you broke up there.
Yeah, right, mate. It's probably because I was clicking in here.
Right.
Beautiful. That's all going to be swelled up through there?
Yep, along the slopes.
How many acres are we going to swale?
Between the two properties, probably looking at close to 500 acres.
Oh, wow. You're going to be going all month.
Yeah, or planning to do 5-6 days a week for 8 weeks straight.
And you've got a driver?
That would be me.
Have you driven before?
Oh, I've operated excavators before, about 10-15 years ago. So I'll probably be a little rough on the first day, but I'll get back into it.
What were you doing?
Drains, mainly. So pretty similar to swale work.
This is where Addy might be an asset to you to get you started.
Yep.
I'll get him a chat to you anyway. He's a lovely guy, but it'd be good to get someone with some experience who's not going to charge you a fortune to at least get you rolling quick,
Yep.
Because the first day, otherwise you're just going to be like, the first day you're going to be going, 100 metres if you're lucky, and not kind of like figuring out how you like tidy it and flick it around. When you drove an excavator before, did it have a tilt bucket?
No. But okay. I've got another machine here that's multiple hydraulics, and so it's just that one's too small for this job, and that's got all tilt features and so forth. So I'm familiar with the tilt function.
You've practiced on that.
Yep.
Okay, so where are we here?
Looks like we've flipped back to the top on the on the southeast side.
And that's the quality of your fencing?
Yeah, it's only a four-strand barbed wire at the moment.
It's all right. All on star pickets?
Yep.
How much wallaby have we got?
Plague proportions. Thousands of them.
How are you going to stop them eating the trees?
We've got about 20 hunters on the books now that come out regularly. So we've got permits and so forth with the state government here for culling, and we'll be hitting them hard every night.
I was just in Hungary, and they're hunters and fishers in Hungary like crazy, like they love it. Right?
Yeah.
And the hunting association have to pay every farmer for any loss of crop or trees.
Oh, that'd be good.
And that means come August, which is it's a continental climate, so a lot of crop at the end of summer and then pretty cold in winter. There's 3 or 4 hunters out on every bloody property just knocking off the deer like crazy, because otherwise the hunting organisation pay farmers for any losses. I think it's left over from the communist era, because they were communist until '89 with the Russians. But shocking. Great. What a system. What a clever system.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to give up their hunting. And it works for the farmer in a perfect way. 1 second, mate. I'm just going to try and get this, make sure this phone stays charged now. Taking a little time to get going. You still got good view? Yeah?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so this is almost be a tiny house remote site.
Yeah, up top it's flat. Yep.
Or typical of a tiny house remote site.
Exactly.
You there?
Yes, yep. Can you hear me? Have you muted me, maybe?
1 minute. You there?
Yes. Can you hear me, Geoff?
You there?
Oh, I'm here.
You're hearing me, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, maybe mute. Did you mute me?
1 minute. Somehow I've just switched the speaker off. Are you there?
Yes.
1 second. Come on. What just happened? Speaker off. Are you there now?
Oh, I'm here.
Speaker on.
Hopefully I'm still here.
Some reason we've lost your volume on the speaker.
Right.
Don't know why.
Technology, huh?
Really faded. I can't
heard
hardly
sound.
hear you. Talk again. I got you.
Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm coming through.
Yeah. I just someone must have knocked some of the dials plugging in. You still there now?
Yes, still here.
Okay, good. All right. So this is a kind of remote tiny house site, yeah?
Yep.
They look like marsh grasses there. Here.
Yeah. It's just gone in plague proportions on the property, and that's sort of what we've got to clean up.
On house sites, you might want to put a table drain or
A back drain.
drain around the back of each site.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be wet ground, just by the look of the plants.
Yep.
That's where we sort of anti-swale. Okay, same sort of country, beautiful view. Same again, you get in that same, it's probably scirpus or juncus by the look of it. Definite indicator of moisture at the surface. And just a little drain around the back, running off sideways. That could lead to little swales or food forest swales.
Yep.
Right, here's the Suzuki.
Oh yeah, that's when I was going around fixing the fences.
Right. You got a gun rack on there?
Yeah, using that as the electric chainsaw holder.
Yeah, you got an Ego.
Ego, yeah.
Yeah, they're all right. I've got one. All right, yeah, look at the marsh grass in there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting the gist of it. Where are we now? Down the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom somewhere.
Yeah. It's actually dry. It looks drier in these bottoms, really. Just
So
frosted. It's probably frosted off.
yeah, so I think I'm on the actual road here at the moment, and that's looking at the east side of the property on the flats. Yeah, a lot of thistle.
Thistle on the slope, look.
Yep.
Not on the flat. Probably when it was wet, got more compacted somehow.
One of the dams.
What's this little pond?
Yeah, it's one of the dams. That's the eastern side of the property.
Has it got a spillway?
I haven't actually been down by it on foot, so
Looks like it might be here.
yeah.
Yeah, that just looks like someone's pulled a cattle dam together.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the last owners did.
It's just pulled out some bog holes to feed the cattle.
Yep.
Probably not got a keyway in it by the look of that dam wall.
No, I'd say it's all pretty rough.
Yeah, okay. That's good that you understand these things because we can just move along. Because some people don't understand what I'm talking about. And it's like, what do you mean it's a dam? We say, yeah, but it's not really a dam. It's just a hole for cattle.
Just a watering hole.
Hey, that's looking up to the high country, yeah?
Yes. Yep.
And that's
still
is that plantation in there or what is
it?
It
is. Yep.
Pretty rough. This would be summer, yeah?
Well, this was, yeah, late summer, early autumn when these were taken. Looking, oh no, they were taken in Feb, looking at the file name.
Yeah, okay, so she's pretty dry.
Yeah.
What's that country up there?
Well, that's all scrub, regrowth. We've just cleared that. And that to the right of your cursor, that's where there's a sandstone ridge up there as well.
Oh, good sandstone?
Good, yeah, good sandstone.
You could pull some out if you wanted it.
Yeah.
And what's the idea going to be up here? More fontaine planting?
Yeah, be part of the silver pasture side of things, but I think up in those steep sections, I'd like to convert most of that to a food forest.
A food forest for who? For a remote site or?
Yeah, for future tiny house tenants, residents.
We're going to have to identify exactly where all these sites are as we hit the contour map, West Wales. Okay, same sort of little bog hole.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting the gist of it. All right. Yeah. Beautiful dam sites. Beautiful dam site, that one.
Yeah, it just needs to be dug out properly.
Yeah, you'd almost go across from the height of this track on the bend across to that like
Exactly. Yeah.
Track. You'd almost get this whole thing. People have reasonable dams in your area?
Yeah, oh, yeah, like big megaliter ones and whatnot. Where we are now, we're standing on the hill on the north side of Font Hill Road. There's that little rise in the middle, and I'm looking to the west.
It's kind of gravelly there. They don't gravel that. That's what's just the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an old track.
He definitely looks a bit fiery there. That and this is young fontaine plantation, yeah?
Yeah, it's what was not harvested last time. And that's looking at that slope up there again with that ridge line.
Wow. What's this? Is it just like local mountain range?
Yeah, that's Mount Victoria, I think.
Is that
that Mount Victoria. Yeah, that's big sandstone rocks.
And then much of that sticking out?
Feature rocks. There's about 6 sites on that hill where there's big rocks like that.
You don't want to hit them with swales.
No.
Otherwise, it'd be costing a lot of money to go around them or whatever. You know, we want a clean run. If you want to cover distance on this, well, where's this? Same again, going to go into Fontaine Plantation.
Yeah.
Just tell me when I hit the village site. Same sort of thing. These roads, they hang together well.
Yeah, that's Fonthill Road.
That's kind of granite, is it? Granite.
Granite and sandstone
Mixed together.
mixed together. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I've got a lot more road photos when I was doing the culverts.
Yeah. I'll try and keep moving, William, because we've got a bit up. That's in one of your yards.
Well, the only yard at the moment.
You're going to use this?
Yeah, we have been. We've modified it since we took the photos there and put another panel in between those two bottom ones.
Yeah.
That way we can contain calves because they just ran through it otherwise.
Yeah, a bit of fun. All right. Got to have one of them if you're going to work with cattle.
Yeah.
What's happened? Am I at the end of the run? I'm at the end of the run. That's the end of the photos on that one.
Yeah, that was just the scenic photos. If you go back to one of the other folders.
Back this way? Back up there?
Yeah. Yep. Go to drone photos. That'll give you more of an overview.
Oh, how many of these we got? Okay. All right.
So this is the Pig Creek site. Mix of miniatures. They've been helping me clear the willows along the creek.
You haven't got any Nigeria? No, probably too cold for Nigeria. Looks like cross.
Yeah, they're crossed with a pygmy.
You want to clear the willows, or are you okay with willows?
Technically, they're a declared weed in Tasmania.
Sure. An incredible crop when you want to crop them. If you use basket willows and etc.
Just that where they are at the moment, they've been redirecting the creek, so it's been causing a lot of erosion. So cleaning it up.
Yeah. I mean, normally they'll slow the creek down and pacify the water and all kinds of things, but they can sort of direct them where people don't like.
Yeah.
So you're cutting and dragging these guys, or what are you doing? That's what I do. I cut and drag with an ATV, forage, cut forage from.
Oh, they're all in amongst it. So I've been letting them eat the understory, and then as soon as that's clear, I get in under it and then start cutting it down, and they clean up everything else, and they're eating all the new shoots, which is slowly killing off the willows naturally, without using expensive herbicides.
Yeah, I then wood chip. I got a Woodland Mills wood chipper on the 50 horse.
Yep.
And then I put that to compost and put it to other uses. They don't like the drone, do they?
No.
That's a nice little downside too. So this is down. That was down the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just an old watering hole.
What is that? That's the old farmhouse yards, or where else?
Yeah. So the house is just slightly to the right of that. That's Pig Creek right there.
And that's water tank up there?
That's our water tank to the house, which we pump up from the creek. That's a little pump house, yeah.
Yes, he's looking a bit farmyardy there. This is where you're talking to me, is it? From there?
Yep, yeah.
What's that? A water hole against the
water hole.
Yeah, we're not going to have any trouble with that rehydration. Here's some of the saddlebacks, are they?
Yep.
They're not worried about the drone?
Nah, they sleep through anything.
What are those eucalypts there? They look like
They're
upright.
they're nitens, so eucalyptus nitens. They're the pulpwood, but we've kept them there for as a windbreak and shade for the pigs.
See, they love to wallow, don't they? Got a lot of fencing on them. They need that much.
It's all temporary fencing. That's the electric fence training yard.
Oh, yeah. And then they go on a single wire.
At this stage, it's still double wire. When they're full adult size, single wire.
Right. You have to be careful what they do to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, like this sort of stuff is not that fertile afterwards unless you rip the living daylights out of it, because they do fertilise, but they do compact, especially in wet weather.
Yeah.
Comfrey is a great way to fatten them out too.
Oh, good to know.
You move them quick and plant comfrey behind them.
Comfrey.
When they come back, they just fatten out on comfrey so well and tastes great. Once people get used to a little bit of black hair, they keep coming for the black hair pork.
Mm.
To start with, they don't like the black hair or the red hair on it. You always got to leave a couple here and there. This is down near, where is this, near the farmhouse?
Yeah, it's south of the creek. So the other side of the creek to the farmhouse.
Okay. I think I'm keeping that up with you. Okay. That's after they've been in, is it? Yeah.
After they've been in, yeah.
Doesn't look bad. Did you rip it up after them? Or no?
Yeah, well, I come in with our little machine afterwards because they ripped up a lot of stone. So we used the bucket to pick up the stones, put them in the back of the truck, then came in afterwards with a forestry mulcher, ground down the old stumps from the old plantation and tilled all that back into the soil. And then I come in with just a broadcast seeder and just broadcast the pasture mix.
Okay, yeah. What are we looking at here? Another one?
Another
Or-
pig yard. Yeah, that's a new one that's just opened up for them.
They're in there now.
Same spot.
Trying to rip it up.
Yep.
This is all down somewhere just over the road, or is it over the creek from the farmhouse?
It's over the creek, the farmhouse. Yeah.
The more or less in the same flat.
There's the
Yeah.
farmhouse. Yep.
Right.
So
This is where you are now.
yep, that's the house. The old dairy's to the left, and
Is that your tip truck?
that's the little tip truck that we used to pick up the pig feed and transporting stone and all that around.
Got some raised gardens here.
Yep.
And you are flying the drone.
Oh yeah, there I am.
Wow. Okay.
Another watering hole on Pig Creek property. That's along Tower Hill Road. It's at the front of the property, and that's Pig Creek that runs right through there. Same area. That's the ridge line at the front of the property.
That's not the same one you said was sandstone.
No, that's granite and it's quartz bearing. So granite and quartz. Again, along the front of the property, that ridge line just runs right across.
This is, what's it, Fontana? What's the company called?
Sorry?
What is this part of yours or part of the tree
Oh,
plantation?
it's part of Pig Creek. Yep. So that'll
Part
all
of
be
your
pasture area.
pasture. And that's just that one bridge of granite?
Yeah, and it just runs the whole width of the front of the property. It's about 10 meters wide. And just to the left of here, this is where I was thinking about doing an industrial area. So workshops, shedding and so forth, because it's dry. It's right next to the main road. So access will be pretty easy. Yeah. So that'll be part of it. Yeah, that's the main road, Tower Hill Road.
How many cars a day go down there?
10, not many. That's old forestry track through our property, and that links up to Tower Hill Road.
Same area.
Yep, same area. Same area again.
It grazed out underneath the trees here.
Yep.
That wallaby, is it?
Wallaby at this stage.
Yeah, hot winter or something. And there's a pond. No shortage of firewood.
Yep. And you can see at the bottom there, we get a fair bit of moisture through there. All right, so on the left side, and as we go through more photos, we'll start panning more to the village area.
What are these tracks?
Just old windrows of when they had plantation on the ground.
Yeah, but what are these random tracks? Animal tracks?
Animal tracks. Yep.
Like this wallaby or cattle?
No cattle at this stage, so wallaby, deer.
Wow. Which deer have you got?
Fallow.
Spotty ones. I know fallow well, then where I come from in England.
Yeah.
They'd be pretty noisy in the rut, eh?
Yeah. So this is that north corner of the Pig Creek property where I'm proposing the tiny village. This is slightly raised around it, so it's less damp.
All right. So with the pines come across the road, what's happening there?
That little corner is just cut off our title. So it's just part of the plantation companies. It's not part of our title. So we've got an exclusion fence that wraps around that.
So how many tiny houses are they going to let you put in here?
Well, at the moment, it depends on the design, but I'm pushing for 50 sites.
50?
Yep.
50 tiny house residences?
Yes.
It means you've got to put streets in and stuff.
Yes, yeah, bit of headworks.
And you need a town planner on that.
Yep. Shared septic field, all that, same area.
So the tiny houses go right out here?
Yeah, and sort of wrap around the trees. I'll be clearing some of those trees as well if there's any there that are dangerous. Yeah. So that's part of the forestry practice plan map.
What's that? Is that the granite? Oh no.
It's just grass or laying on its side.
And then over there is Knightons again.
Knightons again, yeah.
It's beautiful, William. Why are these windrows here just slashing?
No, the previous owner, the owner before the previous owner had the whole property planted out with Knightons. So they've all since been harvested. They've just left the stumps to rot, and it's still got those raised rows from when it was forestry.
They put them on raised rows, do they?
Yeah, yes. Which is annoying.
Rotary hoe it, or what do they do? Rip it and then windrow it, or what?
I'd say I think they rip it, and they've got an attachment that just bed forms. Yeah.
That's how I did my regen. If I have to do a large area, but I just took the tractor.
Yeah, that's a
rotary hoe and bed form.
Yeah, that's a
rotary hoe bed form and then plant straight in quick.
Yeah, that's a dam that's been washed out, so I'll need to repair that.
Okay, this is the same area.
Same area, yeah. Same area, different angle.
Wow, look at it.
Yeah, so that's all facing that corner for the tiny village area. Yeah.
Beautiful. Not going to be hard, is it? Pretty much flat country. Shallow slope. Now, are we going to swale through this, or what are you going to do?
I'm more focused on swaling along the slope, more of the steeper slope areas. But at the same time, too, if there's any really dry areas, I'd want to redirect some water to those dry areas on the flats.
This is fireproof the village.
Essentially, yeah.
Those stumps have rotten, are they?
Those stumps are mostly rotted out by now. Our little forestry mulcher just grinds right through it within minutes. Not even a minute for most of them, half a minute.
Could you put a grader through it?
Yeah, we could.
Because you could grade swales in there real fast.
Yeah.
And you can get graders with laser pickups today.
Yeah.
Same area. A bit further up the hill. That's the area there, is it?
Yeah, that's the area down there. We're now just up on a little bit of a ridge. Yeah. So we're up the hill a little bit.
I should ask, this is the same area?
Same area, yeah. Now we're looking sort of southeast.
Where's north?
To the left. To the left.
Over here.
Yeah, further. Yeah. If we pan it 90 degrees to the left, that'll be north.
Pretty good solar aspect. Gonna get plenty of sun in there. A little bit shaded in the morning if you're close to the trees. This is the understory regrowth, is it? Typical?
Yeah, and that's all that shrub that we're clearing out at the moment.
Some of that would be pretty good bee forage, wouldn't it?
Nah, not that stuff. It's Patterson's daisy or something like that, and it's negligible.
Oh, yeah. Native or non-native?
It's native. One of the volunteer species that come up after the bushfires.
It might be potassium fits in there.
Right, so where this is, we're on the other side of the house site. So you can see the water tank there and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these slopes, I want to swale these slopes.
Yeah. Okay, so just make a note that you need to, on your main map, you need to outline where you want swales. You need to draw like a rough circle around the areas you need to be swaling. It sounds like that's our priority looking at.
Yeah.
So is the tiny village down there?
More to the left, further to the left.
Yeah, over here somewhere.
Over there, yeah.
And then your house site won't be that far away.
Yep.
And you're going to continue living in here?
For the time being, yeah.
Yeah. Right. How old is the house you're in?
120 years old.
Well, 120 years of influence. It was a dairy before then.
Yeah, dairy country.
Mm.
Yeah, that's facing the tiny house site.
I can see the shadows now. All right. Swale should run really good. You know, it's a solar aspect, right? This is up behind your house?
Yes.
Looking south?
Looking south, yep.
I'm getting it. Okay. All right. Let's move. Right, this is look behind your house looking north.
Looking north, yep.
One second. Let's see.
It's just a bulldoze track for us to get up the hill.
Yeah. Just good to see what response there is to earthworks and compaction, and what's scuffed up in the dirt there. Tracks hold together quite well, don't they?
So the last photo, that's where we were, just up there. And so we're now on the other side of the creek again, to the south.
Someone's got a pickup trailer.
Yeah, one of the hunters that come up here regularly. I've let a camper park that up there. That's our future water tank site.
Nice.
Oh, ute canopy for the pigs.
So council are giving you pretty positive responses to the whole concept?
Yeah, to the concept, yeah, they're more about, okay, show us some plans, show us the maps, what's it going to look like, and then the whole town planning side of things to get it across the line.
So you're going to have to pre-sell to finance this?
Well, the new owners of the property north of us, they're looking at financing the development.
You need a lawyer?
We've got our own lawyer, but we need a town planner mainly.
Yeah, I've got Rob Doolan for you if you need him. He's the most experienced in community title.
Yep.
In the world, actually. The Northern Rivers has more community titles than anywhere on the planet per capita.
Perfect.
And I have the lawyer that's worked with him on all the community titles, most experienced lawyer in the world on
Perfect.
community title. And he's become my close friend. He settled the trust of the charitable trust of PRI in '97. He's worked with me since '97. He just came to Jordan actually on the last trip, first time, and I've got him sold hook, line and sinker his whole life. He's an older guy. He's my age and a little bit older, but he's more or less given up wants to give up all his other legal stuff, and his whole commitment in life is to do better eco-villages, better community titles.
Yep.
And he has the experience of 43 years of writing constitutions and all the issues that have come up in 43 years of humans living together is bloody enormous. So he's done the constitution for Zaytuna Farm here for me with a very interesting twist. Are you going community title or are you going moderate?
Well, that's something that I've got to discuss with the new owners next door, and how we're going to structure things and so forth.
I don't need to sell any of these guys, but I'm just going to tell you, as off the cuff, that you need the best. And when we can design the land, we can put down to, we can put swales in, we can design all the trees and the bee forage and the animal, every damn thing. It's all easy, right? Really, it's all going to behave itself. What is not going to behave are the humans.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
when it comes to the legals and the town plan, you have to have, my advice is get these guys, they are the best, even if they're initial high-level consultants, just overriding the advisor to your consultant, the advisor to your town planner, the advisor to your lawyer, because they just have the life. They've lived this life. They've tried their hardest, and they're both at the end of their lives,
Yeah.
And oh man, even here I've got a couple. One of the shareholders, a couple in the shareholding here that I wish I'd never had, and luckily I've got 7 who are great and one that's a pain. But we're majority vote rule, so they've just got to toe the line and get out. And with the way my lawyer has set it up, we can actually get them out if we want to.
Yep.
Because you have to be able to deal with people in a way that's fair but reasonable.
Exactly.
And people People are just crazy. Like and it's not their fault really. It's just the way society's made people crazy.
Yeah.
And their idea of ownership and title and their entitlement, they arrive at, this is a word you need to remember, entitlement. People arrive with some kind of entitlement with no real experience. And you think, what the hell are you talking about? You know? They won't know what they're doing on the ground, they're not survivors, they're going to rely on you, but they're going to be entitled to every opinion that you think, what are you talking about? And then slow process up, disturb other people, make good people leave.
Yeah, I agree completely. We need a really good, robust legal system in place before we have anyone move out.
I've got an 84-page constitution written by Ross. Nice guy's named Ross Wall. I think I've sent his address to you. But he's a New South Wales lawyer, but it just means that you have to twist it in the Tasmanian state.
Yeah.
Like, so what's all this in the background? This is not all part of...
No, that's all part of sustainable timbers. So it's federal land.
Federal. And it's supposed to be sustainable.
Yeah, all that got impacted is the 2019 bushfires, so it all had to be cut down and replanted. So it hasn't really grown back yet.
So where does the property of influence stop then?
Yeah, if you bring your cursor down a bit further down, yeah, there's a driveway along there. Yeah, so that's our southern boundary.
And none of this is the forestry company. The forestry company is behind the drone, is it?
Yeah, on the other side. Yep.
This is Big Creek. This is
Correct.
your time.
Yep.
That looks. What the hell's going on out there?
That's Fingal, so that's our closest town, and there's a 200-meter tall rock there. So we got a lot of rock climbers that come into town and climb it.
Up here.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Fingal town's over that way. That's all Fingal Valley.
Is this native or what is this?
That's native. Yep.
It looks kind of messy, doesn't it? I suppose that might be what it's supposed to look like. It's been impacted by bushfire.
Oh, bushfire, yeah.
All regrow, scrubby, regrow looking. Yeah, okay. I just need to know what's in the background here and there, get an idea of what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is Fingal Valley again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're up on that. Yeah, we're on that little bit of regrowth.
Yep.
Yeah.
I try to put the drone up in areas where I'm proposing cabin sites and then take some photos of what the views would look like.
You are flying the drone again. Okay. Okay. So your farmhouse is down here somewhere.
No, I think we're facing north here. I think so. That'll be to the south with the farm. That's looking towards Fonthill property.
Oh, okay. All right, and you're down. So you're behind the drone and a bit
Behind,
right.
yeah.
That's that bit of regrowth we can see at this.
Yeah, yeah. Which we've actually cleared now.
Or that grubby weed.
Yeah, so all that scrub's been cleared.
This is the natural regrowth edge.
Yeah, we're leaving that. Any trees over 5 meters, we're just leaving.
What road is that? That's the forestry road to look at.
That's Cabin Road. That heads all the way up to Tower Hill to the lookout. Yeah, so we're looking towards a house site, and this is that property in between us and Cabin Road. So that scrub area in the middle is getting cleared out, and I'll be doing a exclusion fence through here, keep deer and wallaby out.
These are very good photos, willing for me to make it. I'm getting to know the property quite quick. I'm like, well, you know.
Yeah, and that's up the hill behind the house site and behind our section of native trees. So it's a fairly flat area here, and it'll be good to put a few cabins in here as well.
Cabins?
Cabins, tiny houses, things like that.
I'm not sure. Sometimes I think you're saying cattle, but you're saying cabins. Right? Okay.
Cabins, yeah.
So this is the same. What's this, daisy weed or something?
Yeah, and there's a lot of fireweed in amongst that as well that we've got to clear out.
I think you'll find it's a potassium fixer. So you might look at a shortcut with some organic potassium if you can.
Okay.
To take it out, or mulch it if you can. The more you cut it, the more you mulch it, the quicker you put the potassium back, and then it comes out the fire.
Mm.
It's like bracken. You keep mulching it, you keep cutting it and dropping it, cutting it and dropping it. It stops growing because you're fixing it back as potassium. Well, where are we now? We're higher again.
Yeah, it looks like we're back over towards Font Hill, but I've got the drone up this time.
So this is Font Hill property in here.
Yep.
That's all going to be forestry. This all Font Hill?
All Font Hill, yep.
This is going to be a unique forestry system you're putting in here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're putting a mixture of species and a mixture of flowering nectar and pollen species. Is that?
Yep. Yeah, and understory species as well. So, yeah, it's
That's
all.
Not normal.
Sorry.
That's not normal. People don't normally do that.
No. Well, we sort of look at this as we're trying to do a whole holistic system here, and we don't want to have everything gigantic, which will just shade out the understory, because we still want to run livestock in amongst it.
I'm just trying to figure out how unique that is. Am I going to go back there? I'm going to go back here.
There we go. Culverts, yeah. And this was the homework. So before you go through the photos, if you open up that map, wet, dry, yeah, that one.
Whoa.
And this is, I'll just explain. So I'll start on the right-hand side, SPC Slingpot Creek, and then I've got numbered of every culvert throughout the entire property, 1, 2, all the way to 33.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have a look at there's a spreadsheet there that gives you the dimensions of each culvert, and then the photos will be C001A, for example. I might have 2 or 3 photos for each culvert. So the A is A, B, C is the photos for the same site, but the number corresponds to each of these locations. So there was quite a few culverts to document.
Yeah. So Pig Creek Farm's on the left.
On the left, yep.
And I keep getting the name wrong.
The Font Hill on the right.
Font Hill's on the right. Font like a water font.
Yep.
Nice. Good stuff. Okay.
Wrong back. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, across Slingpot Creek, that's a big bridge that forestry trucks and all that go through, and they just rebuilt that with logs. It's a fair way down. A lot of water runs under there.
And why have done that properly?
Yeah, big log trucks go over it every day at the moment because they're harvesting 200 acres on the west side of Tower Hill.
Is there any native fish in there?
Further down the hill there is. I haven't really spotted any fish up top.
Not many native fish in Tassie.
It's mostly introduced rainbow trouts and brown trout.
Yeah. That's Pig
Still
Creek, eh?
No, it's still Slingpot Creek.
Slingpot Creek, yeah.
Yep.
Is that the normal flow?
Yeah.
Is that on your property?
It runs through part of Font Hill's property, yes, on the very far west side.
You've got a micro hydro on that if you want it.
Oh yeah, that's in the plans.
But it's a long way from where your houses are.
True, but we'll work that out later on. We'll focus on solar at the moment.
Yeah, the only trouble with moving that electricity a long way is it's a very expensive cable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the road top bridge.
Nice, mate.
This is Slingpot Creek. Standing on top of the bridge. There's a fair drop here. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of water. Now, the property right in front of us, that's part of Font Hill. Those trees up there, so pretty much straight that way and across, that's all part of Font Hill property. And then the gates, the western gates up there.
You can't run that water off to one side and bring it back again, can you?
That would be something that I need to get permitting for, because I'm thinking we could do that further up the hill and really get a nice penstock done and good height, build up the pressure. So I think we can, because it'll divert back into the same creek. But yeah, permitting.
1 second. Are you still seeing everything?
No, the picture just cut off.
Yeah.
And back.
Yep. Right, that's my next call, but it's a business call. It's okay. It's not consultancy. Right. Yeah, if you could run sideways out with, even a 2-inch pipe, and then bring it back, so they're not losing any water. It's just going out close to the gateway through a micro hydro, which New Zealand, there's some incredible ones. There's some great ones running on 2-inch pipes in New Zealand. Then you just take the 2-inch water back. You're not taking any water off. Here's our spreadsheet.
Yeah, with the dimensions per culvert size.
Pig Creek has 2 70-centimetre pipes on it.
Yep.
What's this one? This one on the culvert.
Looks like this is culvert number 33. That one would be actually Pig Creek near the homestead, and that is undersized because it overflows there all the time. I'll need to dig that out and redo it. So in with the goats where you saw earlier. So it looks like we're running backwards on the numbers, but that's all right.
So this one overflows the road.
Yeah, overflows all the time.
But we could turn that into a dam wall if we wanted to, and drive over the dam wall.
Oh, that's what we'd really want to do.
Yeah. And we just smash through the way.
Because I'd love to do a few step ponds along the creek, but it all depends on what regulators and all that will allow with dams and whatnot.
This is which creek? This is Pig Creek.
Pig Creek. Yep.
And this is where you had the goats to.
Yeah, so we're at a different culvert now. This is number 32. This is along our driveway, a Pig Creek driveway. Tree came down, but yeah, the culvert's in under that. And it's a little pond on the eastern side of the driveway, which didn't show up in the maps. But it's all, the wall's washed out on that. That's all got to get repaired.
That's downhill from a culvert.
Yep, downhill.
Wonder whether the culvert's carved that out.
Quite possibly on some severe rain events. Yeah. Same site.
Or whether it's carving out. Get a good indicator of the flow by how much it carves.
Yeah. 31, which this is again part of the driveway. It's a tiny little culvert there.
You don't get really big rains, you just get lots of rain.
Yeah.
You don't get like tropical rain, you get regular rain.
Yeah, we've had a couple 100 mm events since I've been here. And
100 mil. You've had a couple of 100 mil events.
Yeah.
And they look dramatic.
Oh yeah, I mean that Pig Creek Road, we're not crossing it until let it run for a day or two. That's why we really want to build that up so we can drive over it.
Well, we could concrete the spillway so you could splash through.
Yeah, you can see our exclusion fence on the right-hand side of that photo there.
And this is the property, and what's this?
To the left, that's state government timber, and Pig Creek property to the right. Yeah.
Sustainable forestry.
Yep.
Roads are good. Not bad, are they? Bee drains are good. It has to be because the forestry trucks, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wow. You got a wire.
Yeah, exclusion fence, 1.8 meters high.
And electric.
And electric, yeah.
Does that keep the wallaby out?
Keeps the wallaby out and the deer out, but I just haven't finished the fence, so I've got the whole western side to finish.
Are you funded for that?
I've got all the materials. I've got a bloke who's adjusting the front of our property. He's helped me with 26 days worth of labour in return for the cattle adjustment. So between the two of us, we'll get that knocked out later in the year.
No. So that's looking to the
Forestry area. Yeah, but the culvert's just...
Okay. This is part of Pig Creek.
No, that's part of the state forest. It's just a bit of a swamp area there.
You're just looking away from the property there.
Away from the property, yeah, to the south.
Another one.
28, 29. Where is that one? Let me bring up my spreadsheet.
They're a bit silted up, aren't they?
Yeah, it's still the driveway, that one.
We could get them fixed up so they never silt up again, at least on the exit point.
Mm.
If I like hardware and rough hardware the exit of it. All right. So it comes over the road a little bit here.
Yeah, a little bit there. Overflows a bit.
If we dug a pit, we need a pit at the top.
Yep.
That's deeper than the pipe. so that any sediment goes to the bottom of the pit below the bottom of the pipe.
Yep.
And then every now and again you just clean out the bottom.
Makes sense.
But if you really can afford it, you put an actual bought pit in. So you can buy a pit that's like polypropylene or concrete. But if you can't, which is understandable, you just dig it with the excavator while you're there. You're going to get, an excavator, dig a pit and dress it by hand.
Yep.
I usually concrete the bottom roughly, so I've got some flat bottom to scrape, and I just stone pitch the side.
Right.
Bit of work. Every one you do is done, finished.
Yep.
I almost, not quite a cubic metre, not the size of a tote, but half the size of half a cubic metre. And because everything we do tends to create soil, they do collect soil. It's kind of surprising what ends up in the pits after a year or two. So utilities are always something people aren't so keen about in permaculture work because it's not so trendy, but it's part of your utilities, clean the drains.
Maintenance, yeah.
Yeah, just keep everything. No one wants to empty the compost toilet or clean the drains or clean the gutters.
All right, so this is along the front of the property, along Tower Hill Road.
And is that the lower side?
Yeah, that's. Oh, I'm not sure now.
That might be what type of pit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
On the upper side. Do you know what acacia this is?
Blackwoods, I think. Is it Malaloxon?
No, it's not Malaloxon.
No. And I've no idea.
It's a fast growing one. I'm just trying to think. I'm a bit brain fogged still.
Yeah. So again, we're on Tower Hill Road here.
Yeah, and this is a big drain running down to the pit.
Yeah. And we're on the right-hand side of the photo. I've still got to close off that section of the fence because we had a lot of water overflow that runs through there during a major rain event.
And that's where that last shot was on that.
Yeah, that's it.
The high side. It probably is the pit on the high side of the pipe.
Yeah.
Done by council.
Okay, that's Pig Creek.
And this is what's this? This is a rose or something.
Rose hips. There's a few that grow wild around here. Yeah, rose hips.
Unreal. There's a harvest.
Yeah, good for cordials and jams and whatnot.
Oh, incredibly good for the health of animals.
Vitamin C, yeah.
Some people right up on, bringing back the health of horses and all kinds of big money in those. There's your head wall, concrete head wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see it's undercut here. See the undercut?
Yeah.
Probably bored away into a pit.
Yeah. But those two 70-centimetre pipes, since we've been here, the road itself's never overflown, even with the major rain events.
Right. So there'd be a big pit, big hole on the lower here it is.
Yeah. So the road's above this.
Yeah. And that's downhill, is it, kind of way?
I think that's, looking at that, it's part of the fence there. So it looks like we're looking on the other side of the road and it's just all overgrown around the Pig Creek side of things. So a bit hard to see. So I took photos from there. Downhill, yeah. Yeah. So that's where the last photo was, yeah. So Pig Creek runs under all that. Same side, just facing the other way.
Three drains all look good. Everything's all good. Just a little bit of attention, but not nothing It looks like it's a real drama. Or what is this?
So that's further north from the Pig Creek crossing. This is just another overflow, and it's a firefighting dam on the. This is off property,
Yeah. Lower side or higher side?
lower side.
They're using the pipe to feed it.
Yep. Yeah, and that dam was to the right of this photo.
Yeah. It's going into the pine over there.
Yeah. I was getting attacked by leeches getting all these photos too. So. Yeah.
Like the ones on the land, not the ones in the water, the ones that crawl on you.
Crawl on you.
We used to put tea tree oil and lavender oil on our socks. And then put the socks on the outside of your pants.
Mm. They don't crawl up on the inside of your pants.
Yeah. So you can put the socks over your pants.
Mm.
Like pull them up over the top, so they've got to go over the sock, and they don't like to get onto the sock. Doesn't stop them going down the inside of your boot. Same thing works on a lot of insects.
Mm.
Nightmares in the Amazon and stuff. Alright, that's just another input to a pipe,
Yeah.
and that's the exit. Right. Sort of all stabilised itself quite nice. There's no great there's soil patches on the exit pipe hole.
Yeah.
Who's this? Where's that?
That's part of the Font Hill property in between our property and their property. Just an old townhouse that has been left to ruin. Part of the old township. A pond that's all overgrown.
Yeah, bulrush in there.
Yeah.
Is that on your property or off?
Our property is just to the other side of that pond, to above the photo. So this is part of Font Hill's property. This is right on the bend of the Tower Hill Road, in between the two. And the other side's priority habitat, so can't really develop anything there anyway.
Oh.
Where is 22? 20 up Cabin Road. Yeah.
What was that? Just came on. Sorry, mate. 1 second. What time is it?
11.
1 second, mate. I'm back.
Cool, cool.
Just had to just put my next one off a bit. Okay. Okay. This is all looking fine. Just a little bit of shovel work every now and again, make sure everything's not clogging. This is, yeah, very stable, really. I mean, without herbicide, it just means a little bit of handwork.
Yeah.
Wherever you see cattails like this, typhus, bulrush, whatever you want to call it, typhus is the Latin name, means there's a bit of constant water. There must be
Standing
water
water.
there. And that just means like little indicator, like, okay, just a bit of a clean up so you can see what's going on. It's just basic, making sure it doesn't choke. Council will like that when it comes to approving the eco village. Why would that be an erosion there?
I think they dug out a pit just to the bottom of that.
Right. Yeah. Then there's ways we could seed that out, or we could use different clumping grasses. Here I use vetiver. It's not native. It's still better than any of the natives for stabilising any kind of like a clumper that stabilises easily. Yeah, I've broken a bit of pipe.
So where we are now, we're just outside the gate of the Font Hill property. So this is still Tower Hill Road, either side of Cabin Road intersection.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks stable. It's kind of shady there. There's probably old road base or something. Little angle grinder would trim that off.
Clean it up.
Make sure it's just, being fussy about it not choking.
Yeah, it's the other side of it.
Just a quick cut with a rice knife or a with a slipper, and it looked good.
Yeah, that's the Cabin Road intersection, and the Font Hill's in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same story on all of them. It looks like that run over there. That's the pipe. This pattern is not overflow.
I think that's downhill. Yeah. Yeah, that's the outlet. Yeah.
No, that's just there. Looks like water might have swept over there a little bit, but not much.
And inlet.
That's the upside.
Upside. Yep.
And so they put pits in, and they're full at this point of when you're photographing.
Yeah.
When they're dry, they'd be really exposed.
Yep.
Probably easy to dress them up as it dries or as it wets up. Not quite in the middle of the dry, but when it's super hard. But while it's still got some moisture but dry. That's a little tricky one because you've got the three roads all together. You don't really want to see it. It runs down here and then runs back in like that. You want to direct it so it does run away from there and doesn't bog up that corner. So they're all minor issues really. What I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any red flags. I'm going, we'll deal with this. So Tower Hill's on the right.
Font Hill's on the right. Yeah.
That's all right. Font Hill's on the right. We're going to swale on that. With the swales through Font Hill's plantation, are you going to get them to plant the same trees on the swales or a different tree?
Same trees on the swales, on the berm, and then we'll come back in later on and interplant in fruit-bearing and nut-bearing trees on the berms as well, in between the natives. Then they'll be planted out 5.5, 6 meters apart. We've got a bit of room in the middle.
Are all the natives going to be eucalypt?
Mix of ukes and shrubs and so forth.
Like 19, just another pipe. Culvert 19.
Yeah, we're on Font Hill Road now, so we're on the Font Hill property.
Because all your herbage mostly dies down in winter.
Yeah.
It kind of clears these V drains on its own, which is an advantage. Where we don't get that here, we hardly get any slowdown. Do they grade these V drains at all every now and again?
Yeah, the forestry does that for us since they use the road.
Upside again?
I think so, yeah.
That side's quite a steep drop.
That's downside.
Yeah, that's upside.
Yep.
So they put pits, like vaguely put pits here and there anyway.
Yeah, you'll see some pits on the upside. I've done a couple scenic shots on Font Hill at each of these locations too, so you get a bit of an idea what the ground looks like.
Yeah. Are you getting frost now?
We've had a couple days, couple nights, but it's warmed up again since then. Yeah, and there's a cut in for the pit.
I think that acacia is decurrens, acacia decurrens. Get a chance, you might want to check that. They call it black wattle sometimes, like there are so many black wattles. I think it's acacia decurrens, which is like a 7 or 8 year lifespan. Decurrens in Latin literally means vein. Like little resin veins along the twigs. Where are we looking now?
So what are we? Site 18, isn't it? So we're still in on the east side of the property, Font Hill.
So are we going to put dams into the Font Hill property or not?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so it's dams on both properties.
Yes.
Outside. Inside.
So site 17.
Yeah. Have you ever come across the guy who had Tiger Hill Permaculture?
No, haven't heard of that.
He's near Hobart, just north-east of Hobart.
Tiger Hill. I'll look him
Yeah,
up.
I don't know if he's still got it. He's a guy called Ringo. He is an earth mover. That's it, like, been his whole life. He just had a bit of a trip on a sidecar, motorbike and sidecar, and I reported on it. That one looks a little bit choky, but this is still Font Hill, probably.
Yep.
We've got the granite outcrop again.
Yeah.
That's
Sort of down in a little bit of a valley here.
wherever this is, and we might be swelling through it, we need to know that it's going to be, could well get difficult coming through this type of stony country.
Yep.
You might slip between them, but you might get stuck as well. But it doesn't matter. We've got enough country to get around. It's probably going quite quick by the time it comes down this one. I think you've got a big advantage because a lot of it's been used for forestry trucks, so they've had to have pipes and stuff. It's pretty well done.
Yeah, the road's pretty stable. I haven't had any washing issues on the road.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you see in the background there all that shrub and bracken. That's all got to get cleared.
They just leave it on site.
Yeah, we're windrowing it at the moment. Sort of mulch it in later on.
The upside, like now, probably just clear those little trees out of the way so they don't just start clogging it up.
Yep.
There'd be, a work day or two just like cleaning these a bit. There's no great drama. All been there quite a while. They're all in pretty good condition considering they're just at a vague maintenance probably, if any. Watercress, I think it's watercress. Looks like it. Good edible. Goes well with pork.
Oh, good to know.
Want to create some pork. You get Mary recipes off that. Yeah. This was what, a day's photography?
Day and a half.
Yeah, there's a lot of pipes in there. There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just really good to get to know them and number them, and like.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'd better do a map so these file numbers can coincide with a location at least. If you haven't been to the property, it's a bit hard to get your head around it otherwise.
Yeah, if you're directing new people or new workers, say, look, you go out and do like these ones. This is the number. This is the location.
Yeah.
Why they put a peg there?
A lot of the culverts have them, and there's a few missing.
That's away from the road, though. Oh, maybe it's on the road. It's just the camera. Yeah, normally you have a white peg.
Mm.
Well, later on, you could probably put the peg in the number.
Not a bad idea. Add a reflector as well. Safety.
Go and find this number. Nice damn site up there. Is that 33 crossings?
Mm-hmm. So there's the stockyard.
And that's on Font Hill.
Yep, all of these from now on are Font Hill. Yeah, we're slowly heading our way west.
Oh, we got in.
Bit of rubbish on site. Yeah, a bit of cypress there. Yeah, this is the old homestead site for Font Hill. House is no longer there. The dairy's no longer there. All got burnt down ages ago.
They were probably the windbreak trees.
Mm.
Old house bricks and stuff in there.
Did the job though.
Yeah. So how far is your nearest neighbour?
8 kilometres. And he's the only one. Other than him, it's in town, which is about 20 minutes away.
What's the neighbour do?
He's got a portable sawmill.
They just scrape that off or something there?
Yeah, there's a pit down in amongst the grass. It's a bit hard to see.
Big rock out there.
Yes, you'll see that rock in that FPP geoscience report. You'll get a better picture of that in that report. But she's a big sandstone boulder. Feature rock.
They seem to be scraping out on the upside.
Mm.
Fine, why are they doing that? For some reason they scrape on the upside. Nearly there.
Yep, we're at the west end of the property now.
Again. They must want to chamfered it back or something to the pit. And then over time it's kind of fallen.
Don't know what happened to that one, but
You're hiring an excavator for a month.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, 8 weeks.
What if you watercress again?
Mm.
If you're running past these, you could just give those top areas a bit of a dress up.
Yeah, I plan to fix up some of the drains while the machine's in the area anyway.
And then seed it up with something or stabilise it with something. Or dress it up with, push some topsoil in there and seed it.
Yeah.
Because it's cut down the subsoil. It won't come on so easy. That's a little old dam down there or something. Old dam.
Yeah. It's mainly just a small watering pond at the moment. So we'd like to get a proper dam put in there.
It's all just spongy, watered wood.
Mm. Very swampy.
Yeah. Have you been there over the summer?
Yeah, I've seen the site over summer.
All those water holes stay wet?
If it's an average summer where we get reasonable rain, like 600, 700 mil of rain throughout the year, they do stay wet. If it's a dry summer where we're only getting like 400, 500 mil of rain, they do dry out.
Bone dry?
Couldn't tell you. I haven't been on the property during the really, really dry times.
Yeah, when it's really dry, if they're still like damp, dry but damp, it'd be time to reshape them and get into them. Oh, yeah. There's a pattern of doing these holes on the upside, the pit on the upside, and in this time you photograph, they're all full of water.
Mm.
It's all quite nicely done, actually. Good one. There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, I didn't see a bad bit of road in there. The whole thing is good road.
Hmm.
A little bit of work on the pits to make sure they're clean, but no great emergency.
Yeah, and that'll be ongoing maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just dealing with the utilities. As long as the forestry in there, you probably, they're doing a lot of it for you.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is to get moving on the swale positions.
Yes,
so
definitely.
If we can use some of Ben's maps
Mhm.
and think about the extremities of where the areas we're going to swale, and if there's any priorities, but like if there's quicker you can do that and get it back to Darren, we'll just go again, go straight into another session and start drawing them up.
Yep, I can get that knocked out in the next day.
Yeah, and as soon as you got it done, like get on to Darren and take it to the next appointment. Let's get moving.
Okay. No worries. Now, while I've got you, Geoff, if we could just have a look at that geotech report, Tower Hill report, that PDF.
What was the
Geoscience and Cultural Heritage Report.
Tower Hill report?
That's the one, May 23. Yep. So that image there, that's Font Hill, a LiDAR map that the forestry officers used. And of course, the map's upside down compared to Ben's maps. So there's the location of sandstone boulders up on the top left. He's found a little tiny cave on that limestone ridge, but there is a slight active landslide up the very top there, which we're not going to be cutting or anything like that. So, but just in front of that active landslide, that was a like 100,000-year-old landslide apparently. So we just got to be careful up around there.
Is that this star here? Oh no, that's the cave there.
I'll just bring up your full screen again. Yeah. Yeah, so that first page, if you look at the bottom of that map, where it's that red section, yeah. So that's at the very hot top of the property. But just if you move your cursor up a bit, yeah, you can see there the LiDAR, the ground's all sort of misshapen and so forth. We've got to pretty much stay out of there because that was a historic landslide, so we don't want to be messing with that with machinery.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Slideshow's doing some funny things here, so I'll just get rid of this in the background.
And there's that big boulder on the Font Hill. Here he found a swamp up on that plateau up the top, which was interesting. And found a cave system in along Pig Creek behind our homestead site, which we didn't know about.
People could go into.
Could possibly, yeah. It's a little small, but I'm not going in it.
I wouldn't either. But there are those people who just like to crawl in holes in the ground.
Mm. See,
I'm a bit claustrophobic, so I don't like it at all. And that's the old house site.
Oh, that top photo, it's the old dairy, and the house site was looking at the bottom photo to the right of that. But the main concern was that landslide area. Don't want to be digging around that.
Well, I'm going to be working around what you outline.
Yep.
To have a look at the rationale and legitimise where we want to put swales and why, and what dams they can connect to, and then adjust around it. And we'll be on the whiteboard, like drawing it up, playing it up,
yep.
working it through.
So on the steepness maps or the ruggedness map, what areas would I be best looking at swales, like in regards to how steep the ground is?
You really want to stay out of the red.
Stay out of the red, yep.
And if possible, out of the yellow.
Okay, so mainly focusing the green and maybe slightly touching the yellow.
Yes, like if we have to, we'll go into the yellow because
yep.
it's got some connection we really want to grab.
Yep.
Right, and we can do it, right? Because we can work the back cut carefully, but the back cut's going to be a lot larger as you go into the yellow.
Yeah.
But if you're in light green, it's reasonable, and in the dark green, it's almost no back cut. You've got to go underground to make it swell.
Right. Okay.
You're going down because there's no slope to cut into.
Yep.
So that's ideal in light, like the light green and dark green. If we have to, we can go in the yellow.
Okay, cool. Because I was sort of thinking, if I've got this excavator, which is about 2 meters wide, I would have the excavator in the swale as I'm driving it forward and cutting and so forth. So the excavator itself remains level. If that makes sense. And have it as a 2 meter wide flat swale bottom. You'll be
swaling behind you.
Yeah.
Like you'll be cutting and throwing it all in one move. Doing your back, doing your cut, and especially if they ripped it for you, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the steeper stuff, into the yellow, you'll be cutting a terrace in front of you.
Yes.
And then driving up onto the terrace, swinging the bucket around, cutting the swale.
Yep.
And then when you run out of the little terrace, you stop, cut the terrace in front of you quite a few meters, and then get back up on it. I've got video of the guys doing that.
Cool. Cool. That makes sense.
All right, well, you can't sit on the yellow country and dig a swell behind you because you're too tilted off.
Yeah. Got to keep things fairly level.
I mean, some guys could do it, but you don't want to be doing it. Most sensibly, you get yourself reasonably level and then cut behind you.
Yep.
And we've done it right to the limit. We've done it to just under 18 degrees, but really you want to stay away from that if you can.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's a 2 meter wide bottom of the swale channel, how far apart do you think it's best to put a swale from each other?
Well, they're going to get closer in the steeper country. As they get to the yellow, they're going to close up. If they get to the dark green, they're going to. So if one contour goes from yellow to light green to dark green, the next one is going to be further apart in the dark green and closer in the yellow.
Yep.
But on average, we usually you'd like them to be at least the distance of vertical height of the trees you're growing.
Right.
But as you go down onto the dark green, that doesn't work because they're so far apart.
So far apart.
Flat, that's a long way apart. So we then look at how much pressure can we take off the country with the wind shelter?
Yep.
We're just going to have to play it back and forwards a little bit to see what's the majority of the country.
Yep.
The majority of the country is dark green. We'll just space it at a rough distance.
Yep.
If the majority of the country goes light green to yellow, we'll start putting it as a tree height.
Tree height. Yep.
Now, what's the height of the trees they're going to harvest? The canopy height. They'll know because they're planting specific trees.
Yeah, I think the tallest species that we've got in the mix, which will be few and far between, they'll be 10 planting, at least 60 meters apart from each other. I think the max that they grow is about 40, 50 meters, but that's 50 years of growth.
And they harvest it at that height?
Most of these trees, unless they become a safety issue, these will be permanent.
No, they won't be taken out.
Yeah, it won't be taken out unless there's like the tree's sick or split or something like that.
So in the yellow would definitely be that distance apart.
Okay.
Or less.
Yep.
Right. On the light green, we could be closer in vertical height, and in dark green would definitely be closer in the vertical height. But
Beautiful.
then we've got to play around with, well, where the dams really fit.
Mm.
We're going to like go, well, we want to drought proof this country, so let's prioritise the dam connection swales first.
Yeah.
Which means we find the classic dam sites and legitimise those and say, right, it's a good rationale for putting this in. It's worth spending the money. It's a great dam site, good value for money. Get a lot of water for not too much earthworks cost. Okay, now where does the swale from that go?
Yep. And how does it feed into the dam? And
yeah, so back floods out and all that, fireproofs, and then we go, where's the next one? So he's got all those in. So we're finding points first. Points are good dam sites. We're laying swales out across from there and saying, okay, do they work? Yeah, they work. They don't work. There's an issue, whatever. Sort it. Right, work it out. What do we do? And then we go, well, how many swales do we fill in between?
Okay, that makes sense.
So the process of elimination around being able to read the landscape clearly.
Yep.
That's what
all right. Well, I'll draft up where I'm.
It'd be good fun. It'd be really good fun. It'd be like working out a bloody puzzle. But
It's a big puzzle.
It's a very relative puzzle to the future of this property.
Yeah, get it right. Get it right first off.
Yeah, it's the foundation of the whole biological engineering of the system, and we need to write it down because it's a legacy that we don't want someone else inheriting and then going, well, we didn't ever really need this because it's all great. And it's great because we built it on the bloody system.
It's great now. Yeah.
Yeah, which, you need to, you're getting a lot of photos, which is the great thing of our time, that we can actually show people, listen, it looked like this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard to take it back. It's pretty easy to take it back. It's hard to build it to this. So there's, photos every year really that show that, like, the reason it looks like this because we did all this on the way through.
Yep.
And the biggest visual progress will be those 2 months that you do with that excavator.
Yes, 5-6 days a week, 8-10 hour days.
Yeah, so you'll be a metre a minute once you get going. An average a metre a minute.
Metre a minute. I will plan that into my calculations.
So the bigger the excavator, the bigger the swale. That's why you've got a bigger excavator, and it's still a metre a minute. The smaller you don't want to overstate what you're going to do. So if you're going to be a 2 metre bottom on the swale, that most tractors will fit down a 2 metre bottom. And that's kind of what you want because that'll be the ideal contour driveway. Yeah,
exactly. It's a sort of dual purpose. When it's dry, I can run a quad bike or UTV or anything like that around it.
And it'll be the perfect shooting gallery as well.
You're not wrong.
You just slash it, make sure it's a nice green pick in there, and get the infrared telescopic on them, and bang, 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 out they go.
Yep, beautiful. All right, Geoff. Well, give me a day or two to rough draft that up. I'll scan it and I'll send it through to you, and then I'll get you help to work the design out.
Yeah, and we'll keep going until we've got a really good looking plan. But I've got appointments till Wednesday, but they're all at different times because of people around the world. But it doesn't matter with us. We could do this any time of day and night. Yeah.
And as I said to Darren, I'm flexible, so there's no dramas there.
Okay.
All right, Geoff. Thanks for the help today. I will upload this to YouTube as well, and I'll send Darren a link so you've got a copy of the recording.
All right. Thanks, mate.
No worries. Catch you, mate. Bye.
Yeah.